Investigators say the Air Asiana plane that crashed on landing at San Francisco Airport on Saturday approached the runway too slow and too low. The pilot at the controls was about halfway through his training on the Boeing 777. 2 people were killed in the accident, but 305 on board survived.
The plane crashed because it was too low and travelling too slowly as it came into land. But the events that led up to the catastrophic chain of events are still far from clear. What the investigators do know is that the aircraft first lost its landing gear and then its tail as it struggled to reach the runway.
While out at the accident site, I had an opportunity to walk the entire debris field from the aircraft to the seawall and back. When you get down to the seawall, you can identify where the first strikes took place. First, the main landing gear impacted the seawall, and then the tail. You can see pieces of the cabin, sections of the cabin, that are found very early on in the debris field. You can see aircraft parts, galley materials, newspapers, magazines, and flooring.
Investigators are not alarmed that a veteran captain was making his first landing attempt at SFO in a 777.
No one's going to walk into a cockpit with 100 landings under their belt. They've got to get experience. We have to figure out how that happens.
Retired United Captain Ross Amer teaches new pilots that if their approach isn't perfect, abort the landing attempt.
Decisive. Be decisive. If you think you're too high or too slow, do something immediately.
Today, the president and CEO of Asiana arrived to a media frenzy in San Francisco, promising full cooperation with the investigation. Meanwhile, the only crew member to speak to Korean media, Flight Attendant Lee Yoon-hai. She worked frantically to free passengers and other crew members trapped inside the plane.
Actually, I was not thinking, but acting. As soon as I heard emergency escape, I conducted the evacuation.
2 teenage girls from China died on Saturday, one of them possibly hit by an arriving emergency vehicle. Of the more than 180 passengers injured, 26 remain hospitalized, 6 in critical condition, including 1 child.
The Asiana flight crew was not tested for drugs or alcohol after the crash, as a U.S. flight crew would have been. The NTSB also confirmed that at least 1 emergency chute inflated inside the plane. The CEO of Asiana Airlines said he does not believe the plane itself was faulty, but did not suggest the pilots were at fault either. The NTSB will interview the entire Asiana crew, including the flight attendants who are credited with helping to save lives after the crash. The NTSB confirmed that 2 flight attendants were ejected right after the first impact.